We're live.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our second webinar for BU4U Family Connections. I'm Jen Skelding from the Student Life and Success team, and I'm so glad you're joining us as we move into the heart of the fall term. To begin this evening, we're going to start with a land acknowledgement. Brock University acknowledges the land on which we gather as the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe people, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, and acknowledging it reminds us of our great standard of living that's directly related to the resources and friendship of Indigenous people. Welcome, no matter where you're joining us from. We know some of you are joining us from all around the world, and we're thrilled that you can be here with us tonight. We're going to be exploring how families, Emily, would you mind moving the slides forward for me, please? Thank you. We're going to be exploring how families can support their students through October's challenges, from stress and homesickness to safety and belonging. Let's meet our panel of experts who work directly with the students every day. Each guest will introduce themselves, their role, and one thing that they love about the fall season at Brock. Celie, let's start with you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Celie Johnson-Edwards, and I'm the Associate Director for Recreation and Community Engagement with our Brock Sports and Recreation Department. And one thing I really enjoy about the fall is honestly just the activities. Students are back on campus, it's loud, it's moving, lots of things are happening, there's always something to see and do, and they get to engage with recreation all over again. So it's just great to just be in the halls and to hear the excitement about sports and meeting with friends and just getting a chance to be back reunited. It gets quiet in the summertime when they're not here, so the excitement of the fall always brings back just the energy and the boost around the Walker complex. Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Celie. Courtney, let's turn it to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Courtney, and I'm the Associate Director of Brock Sports. I have the privilege of supporting all of our student athletes and students that are interested in competitive sport here at Brock. And the one thing that the fall that I love so much is similar to Celie, but the opportunity to meet all of our new Badgers and see the excitement of starting their university experience, trying new things for the first time, getting out of their comfort zone. And it's always so rewarding to see a number of them engage with our sports and recreation program, not just to build new relationships, but to also build new healthy habits.
Thanks, Courtney. Over to you, Alana.
Hi, good evening. Jen, thanks for organizing this and for inviting me to connect with the broader community. It's very exciting to be here. So yeah, my name's Alana Lowe. I use she and they pronouns. I'm the manager of EDI Education and Outreach with the Office of Human Rights and Equity. Yeah, I think to answer that question, I'm trying not to do something that's too cliche, but you know, the fall, I really do like the changing leaves, and I think what's really special about Niagara region is really just how much green there is, and then when things do change, I really appreciate those opportunities to really just take that in. And that's one thing I really appreciate about the campus, is that how connected you can be to nature and how you can practice more living in relation versus living in an urban center. So living in relation to all the living things that are around us. So I think that that's what's really special, something that I really like. And also to go back to what Saleh said in terms of just being able to connect with students and with returning faculty and staff too, because the summer can be a little bit more of a downtime for us. So it is nice to reconnect and to have deeper connections with students that are returning as well.
Thanks, Alana. Keely, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Keely Berger. I'm a Student Affairs Case Coordinator here at Brock. To build off Alana's point there, and my favorite thing about fall is a little cliche, specifically walking through Jubilee Court every day to get to my office and watching those trees slowly change is one of my favorite sights. To add to that, I also love to see the sense of community and support that we really put together this time of the year as the busiest season for students. watching them participate in all the wellness activities and just finding the joy in the little moments is nice to see as we walk through the halls.
Thanks, Keely. Emily, to you. Oh, Emily, you're muted. I'm sorry.
Sorry, my name is Emily Nunn, and I am the Student Services and Operations Coordinator in Learning Services. And my favorite thing about the time of the year is that students now that once used to be new faces are now familiar faces as we see them returning to our programming and our supports time and time again.
Thanks, Emily. Tanya.
Yes, hi, my name is Tanya. I'm one of the counselors, registered therapist in personal counseling department at Brock University. I have to say fall is my favorite season. I love sweater weather. And I just love the campus feeling and vibe during the fall. I mean, there's such beautiful spaces on campus. I see students engaging in, staff engaging in. Two of my top favorite spots on campus is the Pond Inlet. I love to grab a warm beverage and kind of take in nature there. And I also love like the Bruce Trail behind our campus. Gorgeous scenery this time of the year. So it's just a wonderful, cozy vibe on campus right now.
Thanks, Tanya. Irene, our first Brock student, welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Irene, and I'm in my 4th year of biomedical sciences. I'm also part of the Med Plus program, and this year I'm doing my thesis in neuroscience. I do a few student jobs at Brock, so I'm a residence don. I also am a Brock International Ambassador. I also work with student wellness, and I also work at Career Zone as a Career Zone navigator. And one of my favorite things about fall is that I can start to drink hot chocolate again.
Irene, you're all over the campus. I'm so happy you're here tonight. Thank you. Yael, over to you.
Hi, I'm Yael. I'm in my 3rd year of interactive arts and sciences at Brock and minoring in classics. And I work at the welcome desk in the recreation department. So I'm kind of, I think, the sports and recreation rep for tonight. And I think my favorite thing about fall is, I mean, it's my favorite season, but it's also like the season of change. We get to see the leaves changing and people's wardrobes are changing, which is especially exciting to me. But of course, students' lives are changing. There are new people coming to campus, and it's just a joy to see the positivity that kind of change and something new can bring to everybody.
Yael, thanks so much. I'm so glad you and Irene are here, along with the warm welcome to all of our panelists tonight. So happy that you're all here, everyone. And of course, my name's Jen Skelding, and I'm the Executive Director of Student Life and Success, and I'm thrilled. Emily, would you mind just advancing us? Thank you. I'm thrilled to be facilitating and hosting here tonight. Families, parents, Brock supporters, please know that you can use the chat function tonight. You can add questions as our panel progresses. We will be gathering up your questions and answering them as we go, and also taking some time before the end to make sure that we've answered all of your questions. And if there's anything that we haven't answered by the time this webinar is over, you can send us an email at BU4U@brocku.ca and we'll be in touch. Now that we've met the team, let's talk about something that many students and families start to notice around this time, and that's stress. The excitement of September can give way to overwhelm in October. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time tonight exploring how to recognize when a student might be struggling and what support looks like. So Tanya, I'm going to start with you. How can families recognize when a student might be struggling with stress or their mental health?
Yes, for sure. So when students begin to struggle with stress or mental health, the signs often show up in kind of change in behavior, mood, or daily routines. So noticing shifts from usual patterns can be early indicators that something's kind of wrong. And I have 5 examples for you to kind of look out for. So changes in mood and personality. So becoming withdrawn, irritable, easily overwhelmed, showing less interest or motivation in school and hobbies or social life, expressing more negative self-talk or hopelessness. Shifts in daily habits, so maybe sleeping too much or not sleeping enough, maybe changes in appetite, eating too much or not eating enough to fuel their bodies, and declining in personal health, hygiene and self-care is also an indicator. Some academic functional changes as well, so missed class assignments, drops in grades or motivation, maybe difficult concentrating or remembering things. There can often be some physical changes as well. So emotional signs of stress, so frequent headaches, stomach aches, maybe some nausea, some fatigue, increased worry, panic, or emotional outbursts. There's also the social changes too to watch out for. So withdrawing from friends and family, isolating in their room, avoiding social events, or just kind of increased conflict or irritability in relationships. It's kind of important to really note that stress can kind of look different for all people. Some students become more quieter and pull away, while others might kind of show agitation or be more reactive. So if families notice these changes lasting more than a couple of weeks or see multiple signs together, it's a really good time to kind of check in. And I can kind of give some examples of ways parents can kind of check in with their student. So I always like to use questions of like curiosity. So things like, for example, like I've noticed you've been distant a little bit. Like, what's going on? What's up? Or I've noticed you've not sleeping really well. What's making sleeping hard for you? Or another one is, I've noticed you haven't been out with your friends for a while. What's getting in the way of that? So the goal is really to be curious, compassionate, and connected, which are the biggest protector factors in mental health.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
And Keely, that brings us to a question for you. Keely, along the same line, how do we make sure that our students know we're interested in their well-being without making them feel like we're prying into the deep corners of their life?
Absolutely. And I think, Tanya, you really left me off on a good spot there. I completely agree with that. So our approach to how we talk with our students can really make a big difference in the students, if they're feeling supported or if they're maybe going to put their guard up instead. So when we're talking with our students about well-being, it is really important to frame the conversation with that care and curiosity, rather than the concern or judgment. So instead of diving straight into the personal questions, maybe we can start off by just checking in generally. So things such as, how are things going for you lately? How have things been? We can ask, how are you finding balance with everything on your plate? So those open-ended questions are really giving a student the choice of how much they want to share. And it also communicates that we are just generally interested in their experience. We're not just specifically looking for information. It's also helping us to normalize the topic. So reminding our students that it really is okay to talk about stress and the challenges that we're experiencing in our day-to-day life.
Yeah, thanks, Keely. Yeah, I agree. Curious, connected, open-ended, all of those things so important. Courtney, I'm going to turn to you now. And the image that we have on our screen will help frame why we're asking this question. Can you tell us about how physical activity can help students manage anxiety, boost their mood during the fall term?
Absolutely. I really enjoy and love talking about the connection of physical activity and managing mood, their social, emotional well-being for students. So the great thing about physical activity is it's in the science. So when you're physically active, you're releasing endorphins, you're regulating your cortisol. So that's your stress hormone. Being physically active also improves sleep for young adults. So it's very important that we build routines of physical activity. I always like to say that if we keep students physically active, they perform better in the classroom. They're better ready to learn and retain information. And Brock, which makes Brock so amazing, is that physical activity has always been a cornerstone of Brock's student experience. And I think the other really great part of being physically active is encouraging that social connection that helps during those really stressful times of the year. And when students are struggling a little bit with anxiety and mood. And I know my colleague Celie will at some point during this conversation talk about the amazing opportunities we have in our rec programming for our students to stay physically active and help manage, like I said, those busier times and those times where they feel a little bit more anxious and their mood might be a little bit further down.
Thanks, Courtney. Irene and Yael, I'd like both of you to answer this if you don't mind. What's your go-to way to de-stress after a long day of classes or when the heat gets turned up at midterm season? What do you do to take the stress off?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. What I like to do is I like to grab like a warm beverage and go to the hikes that we have. So the Bruce Trails, you can never finish the whole thing. I've been here for 4 years. And it's also great that we're on the UNESCO biosphere, and you can see like deers running around, and you get to connect with nature in an amazing way. I also love the Quarry View hike and the ducks and the pond there, and I usually go feed them. Yeah, that's like my go-to way to unwind and de-stress.
For me, it kind of depends. On some days, I really like to either hit the gym, or I actually didn't know this until second year, but Brock has like a climbing wall and stuff. So during the kind of warmer seasons, I like to do that, or either sit up at the waterfall by the pond inlet and just kind of be outside and breathe in the like natural air and nature and everything. But then sometimes I like to hit the gym and exhaust myself until my body feels exactly like my brain, and then go watch a movie or something.
Yeah, very practical, very awesome. So hot beverages, outside, time outside, climbing wall, and pure exhaustion. All right, amazing. Emily, we're going to turn to you now. Talk to us about what learning support services are available to help students when they're studying or prepping for midterms and stress levels are rising a little bit. What do we have?
Sure. So we have 3 different programs for students to support their academics in regards to studying in midterms. The first would be our one-to-one tutoring support. Tutoring sessions are booked through our online portal that are available both on campus and online for common subjects like math, essay writing, chemistry, biology, physics, accounting, finance, and more. The tutoring sessions are $25 per hour and are available 6 days a week. A common practice that we see is parents paying in advance for their students' one-to-one tutoring session. This relieves some of that financial stress for the students and allows them to focus on the tutoring session and retaining, not worrying about the financial struggle. The second task that we have is our academic support drop-in. It's offered Monday through Friday for subjects like chemistry, biology, physics, math, and general academic support. This is a free service that is available to all undergrad students and provided by trained upper year students with exceptional grades in those subject areas. Our academic support drop-in schedule can be found online or on Experience BU. And we encourage students to keep an eye out as we approach the exam session, as we do typically have some pop-up drop-in times that focus on midterm and exam reviews. Lastly is our academic skills workshop series. These workshop series cover topics like writing exams, studying for exams, time management, academic integrity, and more. These workshops are held both online and in campus. All workshops are posted on Experience BU, but if that doesn't work for your student, have them pop by Learning Services and one of our staff can go over all the material.
Thanks, Emily. Appreciate it. Hey, folks who are out there watching us live tonight as we work through this webinar, I understand that there are some challenges with the chat function for you to enter your questions. If you're struggling with answering questions, I would encourage you to just send a quick email to me, jskelding@brocku.ca. That's JSKELDING @brocku.ca, and I'll pick up your email and we'll answer those as we go. That will be our easiest fix right now if you can't get through on the chat. Thanks, everyone. And we're going to move to the next section. We've talked about stress, we've talked about mental health, but what about some of those quieter moments of homesickness or anxiety that can sneak up on students? Let's take a look at how Brock supports students emotionally and socially, and how you can help from a distance. So Tanya, let's go to you again right off the hop. What resources are available if a student is feeling homesick, anxious, or overwhelmed? Where do they go? What do they do?
Absolutely. So when students are feeling homesick, anxious, or overwhelmed, it's really important to really normalize that. These feelings are very normal. It is very common, especially in the fall term while they're trying to adjust to new routines and expectations. So really validating that these feelings are very common and very normal and that they're not alone. We have amazing support systems at Brock. I wish I'd had a lot of time to spend time listing them all, but I picked like my top favorite. So of course we have the personal counseling department. So personal counseling support is open to all Brock students free of charge. So we have two types of counseling services. We have a partnership with TELUS Health. And so in TELUS Health, we have 5 counselors that support more short-term counseling. So generally students can get up to 5 to 7 sessions with a TELUS Health counselor. Then we have our Brock counselors. We have 4 on that team, and that's for more longer term kind of support and services and counseling. So we offer about 10 to 15 sessions for them and with flexibility. Brock also has a wonderful program called Open Door Single Session Counseling. So this program is open 5 days a week and students can book anytime. So we have a counselor dedicated to that service. So if students require like a one-off kind of counseling session, maybe they've experienced, difficulties with a roommate, or maybe they're super stressed in terms of feeling overwhelmed with academic pressure, or maybe they just want someone to talk to, they're absolutely able to book a walk-in session at our Open Door Single Session services. So how students can access that, there's many, many ways. So we are located, our personal counseling department is located on the 4th floor of our Shimon Tower. You can always pop in person and book a session. You can phone us, you can email us, and book online. So all the information for counseling is definitely on our website. So if you Google personal counseling at Brock U, our page will come up. The second thing that I kind of really want to talk about is student accessibility services. So here at Brock, we have student accessibility services, which helps facilitate academic participation by providing accommodations and support to students with disabilities and ensuring they have equal access to educational opportunities. So if your student identifies with a disability or requires any kind of accommodations, I highly encourage you to reach out to our SAS. Again, they're located on the 4th floor in Shimon Tower, and it's really close right to the personal counseling department. So I highly encourage you to do that. 2 other services that I really like to talk about is our Wellness Hub. So we have a Wellness Hub. It's a wonderful welcoming space located in our market where students can connect with trained peer supporters who understand what it's like to navigate the university life. It's a great option for students who just kind of want to walk in, talk about things that they're going through with someone their own age in a really relaxing setting. The Hub also does some wonderful events too, workshops, managing stress, peer conversations, coffee talk. So I highly encourage you checking out the Wellness Hub. Also, too, what I think is wonderful and is a great resource for students, especially if they want to connect socially or they want to meet new people, is really tapping into our platform Experiencing BU. Brock offers a variety of organizations, events, and social activities. So students can register through Experiencing BU and register for any listed event or activity of their interest. I really, really encourage families to reach out really early using these supports proactively because they really can make a big difference in the well-being and success of the student.
Thanks, Tanya. Certainly something that Brock is very well known for, and that's supporting students in times such as these. And Keely, you have a special role in this too as a case coordinator with Student Affairs. What's one thing you can recommend families can do to help their students feel grounded?
I think we find that oftentimes families feel when they're from afar and, they're not local, that there isn't much they can do to support that. But I think that's couldn't be further from the truth. So I think initially, as a parent myself, I often want to jump right into the problem solving. What can I do? What can I change? But when it comes to our students, I really think that telling them, just like Tanya mentioned, this is normal, this is okay. We want to shift the focus from problem solving to the encouragement. So this is going to involve us reminding our students it's okay to feel unsettled. That finding, your footing in a new place may take some time, but we want to keep reminding them that their supports are available if it seems to be taking them a little longer to get comfortable. Encouragement in the sense of maybe homesickness specifically can look like a variety of things. So it might just look like nudging our students to get involved on campus. Maybe that's through joining a club, attending an event, walking into the Wellness Hub just to check it out. And then of course, connecting with peers. Through participating in these different areas on campus, we often see our students gain that sense of belonging. That's really what we're missing in those early days of being new to campus. Further encouraging, I think the small, steady actions are important. So it was noted earlier that checking in on routine if things are going askew. So often reminding our students that keeping those small pieces of routine are going to help us feel comforted. Something as simple as going grocery shopping weekly, maybe scheduling a family call home every Sunday night when things are quiet before the week kind of ramps up. Even nudging them to find their favorite spot on campus to study. These small routines are really going to provide comfort and make a big difference in helping the students feel anchored and supported even from a distance.
Yeah, thanks, Keely. Salee, let's turn to you. What recreational opportunities? Courtney gave us a cue that you're ready to just talk to us about rec at Brock. What opportunities are available that can help students feel more connected and less isolated?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Courtney is right. There's so much happening at Brock as it relates to recreational activities, everything that can span from the pool right through to the courts and the fields, into our zone fitness and our studios where they can be a part of teams, or you just drop in sports. So we run intramurals, which is one of our biggest platforms to engage our students. And we have recreational intramurals as well as competitive options. So it depends on the range that the students are coming in. They can definitely find a home. One of the new things that we adapted this year, we heard some students, might not feel comfortable coming to play sports, not knowing how to, engage with teams. And so we did some Learn To programs. So if you want to learn how to play a sport, we had options where they can come learn the sport so they feel more comfortable. And the beauty with things like intramurals especially is that they can come with the team, or they can sign up individually as a free agent. So for students that are new or might not know as many people on campus, is a great way for them to engage and meet new people, feel less isolated, and have a chance to kind of get out there. We also have been working with the residents, the Dons and some of those folks over in Res to engage them, to be able to have a connection right to the students. And so we've organized things like walkovers where they walk students over to show them the zone. We always say, it's a part of your ancillary fee. We want you guys to use it. We want you to come to our expressive classes. We want you to engage in our drop-in programs. And so there's plenty of opportunities. We have things in the pool for them, from fitness to learn how to swim. So life skills are being taught along with some of our fun activities, but the students get a chance to engage in all things. Yale kind of referred to it, our student climb. So obviously a new opportunity for many students to kind of get out there and step outside their comfort zone, but also meet new people. So recreational activities provides that space, that safe space for people to engage with sports, which we know is a great conduit to bring people together, to kind of bring folks in the room and give them a chance to meet and engage. So plenty of things happening at Brock. And one of the things that I really am proud of as well, in addition to the programming that we have, we also have the Penguins, which is our adaptive arm of recreation. So we really are trying to cater to the greater population, make sure there's a space and time available for them to engage. I'm going to stop now because I can't go on.
Thanks, Sophie. I love it. I love it. Let's turn to you. What's something that helped you feel more at home at Brock? And tell us about, was there an intramural that you love or you loved to play?
So two parts to that question, I guess. So the thing that's kind of helped me feel the most at home at Brock is how caring everyone is. I mean, obviously, all of the other students are also caring, mostly because for a lot of them, this is their first time away from home or whatever, but especially all of the staff. And I know that in beginning of second year, when I was just starting to kind of use all the recreation spaces, I was very nervous because I was not a frequent gym goer, but everyone was super friendly and helpful. And they were like, oh, you don't know how to use this machine, let me show you, or like I can show you these spaces. And it was a lot of help and support that made me feel, oh, I'm confident going and being in a space where otherwise I would be very nervous. And as for intramurals, I didn't necessarily do an intramural. However, I joined the fencing classes that they have. I've kind of always been one for the more unusual sports, but I joined it with a friend, and the instructors were awesome. They were super friendly and super helpful, and it was a lot of other Brock students who were doing it too. So I managed to meet and make some friends through there, and just the whole experience was awesome. I would highly recommend all of the Brock intramurals and programs, because we seem to have a lot of students that love them a lot from what they tell me, but the fencing class especially, awesome.
That I do recommend that one to every student I talk to. I think it's spectacular. So thank you. Irene, what about you? Listen, I'm going to go a little bit unusual with you, Irene. What's your comfort food or ritual when you're thinking about home? What do you do?
Yeah. So I'm an international student, and like when I was back home in Dubai, I would like going to the Niagara Falls was a dream, like visiting the Niagara Falls was a dream. And now whenever I feel like homesick, I'm either grabbing Indian food or like going on a 15-minute car drive, jamming to Bollywood music, and I'm going to the falls and just watching the fireworks. That's become a ritual because it's right next door, like it's right there. And that's something that I do when I'm homesick.
Thanks, Irene. Agree. It's incredible, isn't it? One of the world's wonders right on our doorstep. Emily, we've had some parents asking us about how do you improve test-taking skills? What about academic supports? Who do they reach out to get help with their schoolwork? What can you tell us about Learning Services and the Learning Center? Oh, Emily, I think you're muted. Sorry, friend.
Oh man. Okay, sorry about that. Like I said before, our one-to-one tutoring, our workshops, and our drop-in series is really support. But another focus that we also have is our BU101 academic orientation program. A lot of students complete that very early on in the term, late August, early September, and they kind of click through the 6 or 7 modules and they're done. And so I really encourage them to go back to that during their reading week, take some time now that they're actually in school and have their syllabuses and know what's going on, work through the modules once again, resubmit the plan your term and plan your week assignment. Our staff actually reviews all of those and we provide feedback. So trying to balance all of that workload, trying to balance the due dates of when you should start things and making your syllabus kind of blend, or your term with your syllabuses kind of go together, works out really well. But I would encourage them to just to attend our general academic support drop-in. Those are hosted every day by upper year students in a variety of faculties, and they can really provide some direction and some suggestions on how balancing their course schedules with their other commitments.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Appreciate that. You know, feeling connected and overcoming homesickness, anxiety, and support, it's more than just friendships. It's also your academic support, and it's about getting involved and engaged on campus and connecting with community. It's also about feeling seen and feeling valued. So let's shift now in our conversation to identity-based supports and inclusive spaces on campus that help students thrive, especially those navigating university through the lens of culture, gender, or lived experience. So Alana, let's turn to you. Welcome, Alana. I know you've been waiting patiently to talk.
Yeah, it's so good.
What role do identity-based supports like 2S LGBTQ+IA, First Nations, Métis, Inuit, Black students, or international students, what role do identity-based supports play in the student experience at Brock?
Yeah, identity-based supports explicitly for like 2S and LGBTQ+ students, identity programming for Black students, Indigenous students, disabled students, international students. I think they play a really essential and sometimes a really critical role in helping students feel seen, feeling supported, and really ultimately just feeling connected at Brock. So I think that these services, they're more than just programming, right? They create spaces where students can ultimately bring their full self to campus life without feeling like they need to leave parts of their identity at the door or feeling like they need to present themselves as someone that they're not. And I think that for many students, identity-based programming offers an opportunity for them to not just feel culturally connected or connected with people that share the same identities as them, but it also really gives them an opportunity to receive mentorship from people that have gone through this experience before them. It gives them an opportunity to connect to community. And I think ultimately, because we still do live in a world where discrimination and harassment is still very much a real thing for folks, it also gives them an opportunity to learn how to advocate and navigate campus life and academic or personal barriers that they might be experiencing. So ultimately, they serve as points of connection and collaboration for departments and staff, ensuring that equity and inclusion and belonging, that they're not seen as these separate things and siloed, but that they're really ultimately embedded across student experiences. So yeah, I think it's if we want to, you know, create spaces that are really inclusive, we really have to kind of center some of these pieces, because it reminds us that I think that sometimes we think that everyone needs to be treated the same, but when we're talking about equity, it's really acknowledging that we all wear different shoe sizes, or we all wear different clothes sizes. We all have really unique needs and really unique identities, and that when we tailor our services in that way, it really gives us an opportunity to have the most impact, because what might work for one person might not work for someone else. So I think that that's ultimately the goal of identity-based supports. Yeah.
Thanks, Alana. Emily, let's turn to you, because I know the Learning Center has opportunities for tutoring or workshops that that support students that are connected to their identity. Can you share some of those with us, please?
So we have a Lunch and Learn series partnership both with the Black Student Success Center and Hare Genhai, where students are provided a complimentary lunch and engage with academic skills workshops that have been designed and developed by individuals from those student centers and our staff. They're a great opportunity to engage with students like themselves in a space that's comfortable for them. We also have recently launched a new program with the Black Student Success Center, where students can schedule a one-to-one session with a peer tutor for general academic support regarding time management, studying for exams, essay writing, and learning about additional services that Learning Services provides for students like them. We also have two specialists on our team. Our first is Cassandra Carlson. She's our Access and Inclusion Learning Skills Specialist, and Raka Zabin, who's our International Learning Skills Specialist, who focuses efforts on supporting students across the university to discuss their individual academic goals while also acknowledging their unique identities.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Appreciate that. Okay, Yael, let's turn to you. Can you share a moment when you really felt seen or supported on campus?
That's a tough one. Not because there aren't moments, just because I have to think about it. I mean, I think that ultimately it's less one really big moment and more just a lot of little moments. For example, like me requesting certain things from my professor.
Okay, I think Yael's frozen. Is everyone else seeing that for me on here? Okay, we're going to keep moving. Irene, we'll turn to you and wait for Yael to jump back on. What's one campus event or initiative that helped you connect with your identity or community? Tell us about one. Irene, you're muted. Sorry, friend.
So sorry. One campus event that I absolutely love is the community cook-alongs that we host. It is a part of our Food First program. So it targets like food insecurity among students. So in the community cook-along, this was a specific Indian community cook-along where we made pav bhaji, which is like bread and potatoes. So we peel potatoes together, we cut up the carrots, we do everything together, and then we make it in a huge bulk, and we have food together, and then we take the remaining home. So it kind of lasts you for the next 2 days. So that's one of my favorite ways to share my culture with people, but also food is a great way to experience others' cultures.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Irene. The community cook-alongs are simply a hoot. And from making jollof rice to the one that you just described, They are spectacular and a great way to help support food insecurity or food security on campus. Yeah, welcome back. We're glad that you're back. You got cut off mid-sentence while you were talking about one moment you really felt seen or supported on campus. We'll turn back to you for a second.
Okay, yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi cut out. This, the cons of living in a basement. But yeah, really just all of the small things, especially from professors in my classes, of just being really accommodating for the things that are maybe different from the average student's ask. So like giving me time to work around some of the holidays that I celebrate, or just making sure to really highlight things that are happening in the world, and especially, for example, in science, like, and this is how this research affects this community also, and or in like social sciences, and this is how this is targeting. Just really being able to hear things and just hear about people like myself aside from the norm, whatever we think the norm is really just makes me remember, like, yeah, people got my back. So that's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm sure every panelist on this webinar right now loves hearing from you in that regard. People have my back here at Brock. What a beautiful sentiment. And Irene, I can go and do things that remind me of home and share my love for home. I think that's really beautiful. So belonging is powerful, isn't it, everyone? But so is feeling safe. So whether it's walking across campus at night or navigating a tough situation, students need to know that they're supported here at Brock. So let's talk about how Brock keeps students safe and how families can have meaningful conversations about well-being and safety. Keely, over to you. What does Brock do to keep students safe on campus and off campus?
Absolutely. So at Brock, I think student safety and well-being are really at the core of what we do. One of the key initiatives that supports this is our Care and Connect program. So that is a referral-based program that helps students get connected to our team in student affairs for case management support. Through this program, we work with the students and identify their unique needs, and we help get them connected to a range of resources. So both on-campus resources and off-campus resources if needed. Some of those supports may be mental health related, some might be academic help, and some of those might be more specific to things that are available in our community. Students can reach out if they're feeling directly if they're feeling overwhelmed or unsure of where to start. We also rely on peers, faculty, or staff to refer people if they feel that they need a little bit of extra support during a tough moment. We're making sure that every undergraduate student is aware of this this year by including a blurb about Care and Connect in their course syllabi. We also make sure to attend the wellness fairs, information sessions, and classroom presentations. Really, the goal of this initiative is to meet students where they're at. We provide them with an individualized and proactive support that helps them feel safe, cared for, and equipped to navigate whatever challenges come their way. The team of panelists here today are really an example of all of those support services that we connect students to. This program allows us to have an early alert system in place, so making sure that people know they don't have to wait until they don't know who to turn to. A simple question warrants a visit to my office to have a conversation about all the wonderful supports that are available for our students.
Thanks, Keely. I'm keeping my eye on the time, folks, because I know parents have some questions that are coming in. So I'm going to jump over a few of the questions that we had planned, panelists. And I'm going to move to Salih. We're going to jump right to you. As we're talking about healthy lifestyles, campus engagement, we did have a question about, how can I get my child interested in participating in events on campus? So Salih, talk to us about how do you grow a healthy lifestyle while at Brock, and in what ways can intramurals, open rec, athletic engagement support growth and development and connections here?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest part of that is really the connections part, Jen. And I think when they're connected to, folks in and around the campus, they get a chance to really engage. And that's honestly just involving themselves with some of the panelists and the work that they do. And there's a lot of interconnection within the university. So we try to really, figure out how we can work together within departments and work across the university so we're connected, or at least sharing information in that regard. But yeah, they're the beauty with rock sports and recreation, there's a continuum that we've created there, from recreational activities right through to competitive club sports on the sports side, to varsity club and our ultimately varsity level. So there's space and ability, or a space to provide different abilities to be engaged in that regard. Intramurals is a great way to meet new people, but also, it can be a bit daunting for some of those, people that might not enjoy sports, but things like fencing class. So we try to really step outside the zone. Our fitness center offers a wide range of opportunities and activities, from Taylor Swift spins to all different types of themes. So we try to really get a chance. There's a Learn the Thriller dance from Michael Jackson. So we're really trying to think outside the box when we look at these things, to really engage the students. But one big thing that students can always feel connected to is Brock Pride and Badger Pride, and getting out to a varsity game is one of the greatest ways. Right there, you already have a common goal of cheering for the home team, and giving students a chance to possibly high five someone with just being excited with sports, and now they're best friends. So we definitely see where sports and rec can make those connections. So really try to engage really early once September hits, and getting out there. We're at all the events, we're at all the open, places where we can booth and really get the name out there. So there's signage everywhere, there's opportunities. So I think from a social aspect, a social connection, that physical release, that physical health, once you start getting involved with those things, once you just take the first step, it usually just snowballs into something else, and they learn about other things. And now, they're connecting with people that are showing them other things on campus. So it's just taking the first step. And that can be a little scary at times. But once they take it, honestly, it's a world that they 100% appreciate diving into.
Yeah, Sully, I think you hit it there. Sometimes it's scary to take that step and step out. So, Irene, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, because you're in the residence and you're a residence don. How do you support students when they're hesitant to take the next step, to take out, and they might still be feeling lonely on campus today? Like, what can we do to support students to get engaged and step out into the social spaces?
Yeah. So as a Dawn, what I do is I hold community events just among like their roommates, or like everyone in a building is going to a community event. Or if students are interested in niche activities, we have hundreds of clubs at Brock. So it's the Taylor Swift Club, the Baking Club, the Lego Club. I met some of my best friends at the Brock Winter Club, where we went skiing and we went to Canada's Wonderland. So they took us on different trips. And I remember doing that in my first year, and I'm in my fourth year and I'm still friends with them. So being engaged in different activities, I promise there's something for everyone. If someone likes a more quieter activity like painting, we have clubs that are more artsy, and we also have drama clubs that are in musical theater. So I promise there is something for everyone. So we encourage students to go with it, even if it's like a niche hobby. We encourage students to get involved in clubs. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Irene. I remember the Winter Club, and I remember your group in the Winter Club, and I believe it won Club of the Year because it was such a powerful community builder, the Winter Club. Who'd have thunk? But listen, friends, what we're going to do now is we're going to jump to kind of a rapid fire final thoughts. Like, we're going to really go once around the room. So I'm going to start with Alana, but Alana, you only have like one sentence or one word. We're going to rapid fire. What's one next thing that you think students should be engaged in, that they should try to support their well-being this fall? Alana, you start.
Yes, and okay. I'm sorry, I'm not the person that you should have started with, because I'm wondering what exactly am I talking in regards to the department or in regards to well-being for fall? You know what? Stay warm, get cozy, get a comfortable space in your room, and just take care of yourself. I think we need to practice more self-care. Okay, end of thought.
Thanks, Alana. Courtney, you're up.
I'm going to say come support your Badgers. This winter we have a number of events and games on campus. Tickets are free for all students, and it's just an opportunity to get out of the house, get out of the residence, and come interact with some other students on campus. So go Badgers.
Go Badgers and go Jays. All right, Tanya, what about you?
Yeah, I absolutely suggest kind of ground yourself, go on a wonderful mindfulness walk in this beautiful weather. We have short hills, we have the Bruce Trail, just get outside and enjoy.
Yeah, turning it to you.
One thing I would say, hot shower. As the weather is turning cold, there is nothing better than coming home and an incredibly hot shower. Awesome.
Yes. Emily, over to you.
Perfect. So my one thing would be our STEP course, which is a transition program to university. So if this year unfortunately isn't going so well or going so hot, have a conversation with your student over the fall reading break or the winter break about maybe thinking about taking STEP in your winter term to kind of end your first year of university on a really positive note.
Thanks, Emily. Keely.
I'm going to end it off with short and sweet. Participate in the puppy rooms. It's good for the soul.
Yeah.
The puppy rooms, for sure. It'll be on Experience BU, won't it, Keely? Yeah. All right, Salih.
Find our rec guide somewhere close to you on campus and see all the amazing things that are there for you, including spin classes, which I did it today and got a serious workout, but also our fun tournaments, Movember, Halloween tournament coming up, our fall winter league. So find one of these, get involved, and it'll be good to go from there.
Or join the Penguins.
Join the Penguins or volunteer for the Penguins. They're always looking for volunteers too, so great opportunity.
Right. Thank you, Salih. Irene, last word.
I'm going on the opposite direction. I'm going to say do not procrastinate your appointment with your academic advisor. I just had mine today because I'm about to graduate. So they're an amazing resource to see if you're on track with your courses and if you're taking the right courses that count towards your degree.
Wow, we've really had it all here. Our panelists are so diverse. We've had to have a hot shower, to go to a Badgers game, to go on a walk, to join the STEP, join into STEP next fall, meet your academic advisor, stay cozy and bundle up. All of these things, all potentially awesome ways, and even volunteer, awesome ways for students to stay engaged and protect their wellness. You know, folks, I know our chat function had a little bit of challenges, but if there are any last minute questions, you're able to put them into the chat box because we have a couple minutes left here. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Your support matters more than you know, and your student is lucky to have you in their corner. We'll send out a recording of this and the links to many resources that the panelists have spoken to tonight. And panelists, thank you. Thank you for spending your time here with us this evening and sharing with our parents, families, and Brock supporters. A big special thank you to Irene and Yael, two students here in the midst of midterm season, joining us from residence in a basement apartment. We're so glad that you could be here and share with us your experiences too. It's meaningful and important. So until next time, folks, take care, stay connected, and we're glad that you're part of the Brock community. I'm just going to do one. I don't think we had any more questions come in, so we're going to close it off here a little bit early, 6 minutes shy of 8 o'clock. Have a great night, everyone. Take care.
Take care.
Can said stay in to remain in the call for a recap. I hope he's